Good evening, everyone. So our live is beginning. Julia will be joining us shortly. And this live is about how our yoga practice can build confidence. So I'm just waiting for Julia to join and then we'll get started. We're going to have a chat about yoga and confidence and self-esteem. We're running an online workshop soon on the 11th of December, all about self-love. So we'll be doing lots of gorgeous practices. We'll be doing some gentle yoga, some breath work, some yoga nidra, and some self-massage as well. So lots of lovely stuff to really take with us into our Christmas months. So hello to everyone that is joining. Julia is here. Hi guys.
Hey!
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. And I see people coming in as well.
Yeah, welcome to everybody. I've just been explaining a little bit about our event and what we'll be doing.
Great!
Yeah.
And so today I want to talk a little bit about how yoga, chakras, and that goes together with self-love and self-esteem, right?
Yeah, I think it's so important to talk about that connection because so often we can see yoga as a physical practice or maybe something that we just do, and actually looking at the connection between how yoga actually impacts our life off of the mat. So I'm really happy that we're speaking about this today.
Yes, me too. So maybe we should start with giving the viewer a little bit of an introduction with the chakras and how they impact our life. And then later on, I also prepared a little exercise. So I'm looking forward to share that with everyone.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you want to start, or shall I go ahead?
You go ahead, talk about the chakras, and then we'll evolve the conversation if you're happy with that.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, okay.
So chakras are energy centers in our body, and usually we talk about 7 main chakras, but actually we have plenty of them. And you might have seen these rainbow colors going from the base of the spine, going up all the way to the crown of the head. And they are literally the rainbow colors, which I think is awesome. And they all have different qualities. So they impact our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, and all to a different level. And they can get out of balance. And when they're out of balance, then certain areas in our life can feel also a little bit out of balance. Makes sense so far, right? I mean, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I hope you are watching, also nodding. Yeah. And when we look into like self-esteem, being in our own power, but for me has a lot to do with loving ourselves. That is our Manipura chakra, which is located around the solar plexus and has the color of yellow. So my Hatha yoga teacher would always say that it's not only about doing the asanas for the specific chakra, because our postures we do in yoga, they can also impact different chakras. And that's great, but we can do so much more with that. We can do yoga nidra, where we balance the chakras. We can work with the colors of the chakras. So when I used to get a sore throat, I always started looking at sky blue things. I was focusing on my throat chakra, looking at the sky. I was like, oh, I don't have a sore throat. I don't have a sore throat. So we can work with the color yellow for self-esteem and to be in our own power. But also eating the colors. So she would always eat the rainbow. Every meal had like a lot of different colors, also to nurture the energy bodies, which I thought was really beautiful.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Oh, yeah. Eat the rainbow. I mean, this nutrition was also very clever because a lot of different vegetables and fruit have a different set of nutrition. and they're quite similar to a color.
Mm.
So when you mix it up, you're making sure you're getting also a lot of different nutrition and different types of fiber. So yeah, color of yellow.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's for me, there's a correlation between the color yellow. It's like the color of happiness.
Oh, beautiful.
So when I feel really confident and happy in myself, it's related to the color yellow, which is obviously the color of the chakra, like you just explained. So I think it's really nice the way you put it, that we can connect not only the yoga postures to the chakra, but just visualizing the colors.
Exactly, and we can visualize them also just within us. We can hold our hand on the chakra and visualize just being in a bubble of yellow. And usually we would do in Yoga Nidra, for example, we would go through all the chakras.
Mm.
But there's nothing wrong every now and then just to work on a specific chakra. We just need to keep in mind that it's always the holistic approach. That we're not getting stuck on, I'm only working with yellow now.
Yeah.
Right? Not only yellow fruit, you know, too much of one thing is also going to not be beneficial.
Mm.
And the one exercise I mentioned we're going to do in the end of this Still Alive actually uses the sound also. So each chakra associates a specific sound.
Mm-hmm.
And for the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura, it's Ram. RAM.
Mm.
And when we think about sound and aligning our energies, it's one of the most powerful things we can do is breathing and vibration. And when we're doing sounds, we can feel them all over our body, and they're really powerful to lift our energy and also to balance our chakras.
Mm. Yeah, it's a really powerful way to shift, isn't it? Shift the energy, like you said. It might seem really simple to create these vibrations, but actually that has it's scientifically proven now that the shift that breath work and making these sounds can create in the body.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's so underrated. You know, we're always going onto our yoga mat and we forget to breathe. We don't want to do the chanting in the end because it's awkward. And I understand that we have this bit of reservation to something that's new, but once you really allow it and try it out, you will feel it immediately.
Mm.
The vibration of Om going through every cell of your body and just sitting in silence, and you can still feel it vibrating afterwards. It's just, you know, and as you said, it has been proven how vibration and breath can impact our whole system.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that about the chakras. It's beautiful, you know, connecting that part of the yoga philosophy to confidence and self-belief, which ultimately comes down to self-worth, which is what we're working on now, self-love workshop. It's about your relationship with yourself. And I was thinking earlier, you mentioned something the other day to me, and it was about how yoga connects to stamina. And it got me thinking, and I was like, you know, what is your relationship, like my relationship, to turning up to the yoga mat? And it got me thinking, like, what yoga is and how it builds resilience and how it's all connected. And actually, you know, I still struggle sometimes to turn up to my yoga mat. And I know that when I speak to a lot of clients, they struggle too. I mean, do you ever struggle to turn up to your yoga mat? Or do you find
all the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in me.
Yeah, and I think, like, yeah, some people might be able to just show up to the mat easily all the time, but we like to be honest and real. And for me, some mornings or some evenings, I'm like, I just really don't want to do it. And yeah, sometimes I don't do it, but those times that I do, I realize how much that builds my resilience, because not only am I showing up when I don't want to, and that relates to experiences in life that sometimes I don't want to do, the difficult situations. And I know that I can show up to my yoga mat, which might seem like a really simple thing, but I do it. So when I come into that situation in life, it's like, actually, I know I can do this.
Yeah.
And when you're on the yoga mat, there's things that, I mean, every yoga practice is different, right? There's so many different styles. And particularly if we're moving through a yoga practice, which is quite challenging physically on the body, we might come into postures that we have beliefs about that we can't do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is
And
also.
I think, yeah, and then it's like, but then we either work through that and we find something that works for our bodies, or we find that we can actually do that thing and it was all in our heads. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, how stepping onto your mat and meeting these beliefs actually helps build confidence. I don't know if you have any relation to that, anything that comes up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think what I notice in my own practice is when I have a regular practice, it becomes so much easier because we already build that stamina. And it's like a muscle, and we have to train it. And being patient and humbled about that, the stamina is not built in 24 hours. But every time we show up and do a little bit more, we are working that muscle. And that's showing up for ourselves. And the more we allow ourselves to show up for ourselves, the easier we will get to love ourselves as well. Right? Because it's all connected, because who are we going for onto the yoga mat? For whom?
Yeah.
For ourselves. It's not a competition, it's not a sport, it's not a team waiting for you. It's purely self-motivated that we want to change something. And I really like to close a practice, whatever it is, if it's a share yoga, if it's like a yin class, a vinyasa class, with give yourself a big smile for showing up. Because I know how hard it is, right? But every time we do it, and if we do it regularly, it gets easier. And then all this magical stuff is going to happen, and how we relate to our body, how we understand that we're not our thoughts, and all that comes with the practice. And also what you said about the posture that we think we can't do is often I avoid a posture because I'm like, it's not for me, but I keep on doing the other stuff. And then one day I go into a workshop and they challenge me, okay, come do this posture. And I do it. But not only because I was brave enough and had the encouragement, but also because I was practicing the other postures, the other things, the breathing, the meditation all the time. And that is building up and coming all together when it comes to more challenging postures. At least for me, I noticed that a lot. And it's like, I actually can do this, even though I haven't practiced that specific posture, but because I've been doing other things. Have you noticed that before?
Yeah, absolutely. It shows that it's all, what's the word I'm looking for? It's as at a whole, and that's what yoga's all about, right? Bringing everything together as a whole, yoking everything together.
Yes.
And yeah, like you said, you notice the impact of one thing, how much of an impact that has on another thing. For example, how much the breath has an impact on a posture. So like when we come into balancing postures, the breath has a big impact on how we can balance. When we work with the core exercises, the breath has a big impact on the core activation.
Yeah.
So then when we take that off of our yoga mat and the lessons we get from it, it's like every little thing that we do in life has a big impact. So the way we talk about ourselves, if we're talking about self-love and self-esteem, has a big impact on how we show up in situations.
Yeah.
So I love that idea of sometimes we want to take a magic pill, maybe the confidence pill or the self-love pill, but actually it's work. It's all these little pieces, it's tiny little bits that create a confidence in a whole.
And the problem is with the pill, if you don't have the pill for whatever reason, it's not going to stick. And it kind of gives that illusion that it always has to be there. Because we also need to talk real, like what you said in the beginning, we like to do that, is it's also okay if we don't feel amazing one day.
Yeah.
Things go up and down, right? Like our yoga practice. And that's so much what it teaches us, what you just mentioned. Taking it back from the mat into real life. That is why a lot of people, even subconsciously, I believe, go onto the mat. Because it helps us to navigate through the life. And also understanding it is fluctuating. And it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah.
And then having also the stamina and slowly building up the stamina to say like, okay, I want to change something. And then start doing it with the help of your teacher, your friends, or maybe just showing up every morning, sitting 5 minutes on the yoga mat, breathing.
Mm.
Just start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And know that it evolves as well. Because for me, sometimes I'm in a space of in a few months where I need a strong practice. And then some months I need to be really, or maybe a few days of that month, I need to be really gentle with myself and not beating myself up for not doing the strong practice, and actually noticing what it is that I need, which we'll talk about in our self-love workshop. It's really feeling into what you need rather than what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yes, that's also a practice to feel in and start connecting to that source. Because society, everybody, like from our childhood, parents, everybody's keeping telling us with good intention also what we're supposed to do, who we are supposed to be. And now we're taking off the layers slowly and say, but what's underneath of the supposed and should? What do I actually really want? And a lot of self-love will come from that space of understanding who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Ah,
Beautifully
it's always good to talk to you.
put.
So inspiring.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add? Or shall we just introduce the little exercise and hope that people feel also inspired to join our workshop? We only have a few spots left because we're going to have an intimate sharing also in the end. So get your ticket. It's just a week away, a week in 2 days, right?
I know, come around so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few people sign up, and then we've got I think 5 spaces left now. So yeah, but I'd love to learn this exercise, this thing that you're going to share with us. Are you ready to share?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
why I
let's go
want to
for
set up a little bit funny today.
it.
So far away from the computer. So you can join me and just watch it later on. So we're going to stand up, standing a little bit wider than hip distance in this nice solid stand. And focus on our Manipura chakra. And we're going to use motion, breath, and sound. So taking your hands onto your shoulders, and I just show it very slowly. So we are twisting to one side, straightening out the arm and saying the word Ram. Inhaling to center, and then Ram on the exhale. And as you can see, we're twisting around our Manipura, Ram. Keeping the hands on the shoulders, Ram. Yes, say it, Ram. 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 And then coming back to the center, just release your arms. You're welcome to close your eyes. And to ground yourself in your mind, repeat on an inhale, I am. And on an exhale, say to yourself, here. Inhaling, I am. Exhale, here. Taking a moment to come back, noticing any changes, staying with the breath, any bodily sensations, any tingling, any warmth. Very nice. So you can do this anytime when you're feeling a little boost in self-confidence or taking your power back for a couple of moments. Focusing on this area when you twist up from the thoracic upper spine. How do you feel?
Yeah, I love that. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, I also found it like just recently, and I was like, "Whoa, this is good. This is powerful. I love it."
I think because we're twisting through that chakra, and like you said, adding on the mantra, the vibration, and I find that stuff like that, especially if I'm feeling not confident or I need a confidence boost, It's particularly like for me, if I'm going to go do a live talk or do something that takes me really out of my comfort zone, having a tool like that is so simple yet effective, just to focus the mind just before I step onto stage or step into in front of a crowd of people, just to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And coming back to being present, I feel amazing.
And we did a very short version of this now, of course, because you don't extend the time of this live. But keep it in mind, everybody who watched it, you can use the replay and have a look at this exercise, and getting also your own rhythm, how fast you want to move. You know, the faster you're going to do it, the more your heart rate comes up. So you want to do the grounding maybe a little bit longer with slow abdominal nose breathing. But even just short, as you said, for an important phone call, it's like, yes, I got this. It's like body, mind, breath, vibration, sound, you know, we're taking all the toolbox in like, what was it, a minute or two? So, yeah, thanks for trying it out with me.
Thank you for sharing. That was beautiful.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we should tie up there if you're happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. For anybody watching, we would love for you to join us for our online self-love workshop. So yeah, 5 spaces left.
Yes, and it's 2.5 hours, so that we don't have to rush. We have plenty of time. And we're bringing different tools together, so that's a beautiful thing. Also, in joining these workshops with different teachers, all own specialties.
Yeah, and I really like it's amazing to go to things in person, but equally, I love doing stuff at home because you can make it cozy, make it comfortable. If you can find a space, light some candles, dim the lights.
Yes.
Smells if you have them. And yeah, this is a nourishing workshop. This is really about nourishing yourself to go into the winter months.
Yeah.
Build that self-love. Maybe it's more self-esteem or confidence, or just building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also unplugging in the busy Christmas season, and it's beautiful to do alone. But one of the participants, she also told me she's inviting some of her girlfriends, so they're making a little thing out of it. So it's also nice to get your partner, your mother, whoever wants to join, and do it together. It's also a nice bonding experience at home in cozy times.
Yeah. So just a few details. We're doing it on Sunday the 11th of December, 1:30 till 4 UK time.
Yes, that's 2:30 to 5 Denmark.
It's amazing technology that we can do this from different parts of the world.
I love it. Yeah. From one island to the other.
Yeah. And we've done this event on a sliding scale basis. So we would obviously want as many people to join it. Well, we've got a limited number, but we want everyone to be able to join it if they'd like to. So we've done it on a sliding scale. So there's different price ranges depending on how you feel, what you'd like to, donate. Yeah, pay.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, reach out to Sharnelle or me. We're here for you guys. And thanks for watching. Yeah. And thanks for having me in this live again, Sharnelle. Looking forward to the time together next Sunday.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Lovely evening, Julia.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.